Spare a thought too for the people trying to sell their homes or businesses in Kaikoura right now. Some homeowners face being unable to sell at all or the prospect of taking a huge price cut. But for some buyers, I guess it's posting an unexpected opportunity. Phil Pennington reports.
The for sale sign outside Lynn Hastie's rental property on a fractured lifestyle block north of town is about to be taken down. The quake has driven them out of their 1992 house and into their 1930s stucco rental.
We had our front property here on the market and we live in our back property, which was severely damaged by the earthquake. So we've had to move out of our back property back into our front one. So therefore we'll now have to take it off the market until we get our back property assessed as to whether it's got to come down or not, and then reassess what we're going to do with our front house here that's we're trying to sell.
For Colin Hensley to the south in Oraro, it's the opposite problem. The quake's driven him to stay in his home. He listed the two-bedroom wooden house as a private sale 10 days before the quake, and it's undamaged.
We had one guy very, very keen. He was going to come up on the Thursday, and we had the bloody earthquake on the Monday. He rang up one part of there and said, "Are you all right?" We said, "Yes." And he said, "Is there anything you need? I'm going to Christchurch." And we just said, "No, we've been looked after pretty well." But there was no mention of a house or looking at a house.
So the quake has put paid to that potential sale?
Yep. I reckon it'll be another 5 years at least before we get anybody seriously about looking.
Mr Hensley, a 69-year-old one-time strip club owner in Nelson, says the biggest shame of what looks like a long delay to the sale is that his partner Wendy Brewerton desperately wants to go to Richmond, where they plan to buy a big caravan and look after her 4 grandchildren for her sick daughter. Back in Kaikoura, 25-year veteran real estate agent Joe Van Rooyen shows us through a beach road rental he's just sold since the quake for $280,000. Pretty much unchanged from pre-quake prices. And Mr Van Rooyen is noticing a new source of demand after taking calls from investors in Christchurch.
He had a good conversation with one of them. He said he'd bought several rental investment properties in Christchurch and done very well out of it. And he wanted to be in quickly here and do the same.
Of 10 other deals Joe Van Rooyen had on the go when the quake hit, 3 have gone through, but 7 now need more work done on them. A big commercial deal he won't talk much about just got an engineer's sign-off for the property. And in another, for a cafe in town, the Australian buyers are now renegotiating as the income forecasts have changed. Local bookkeeper John McDonald, who's heading up the Professional Services Business Recovery Group, describes it like a fairground ride.
Basically, the merry-go-round has stopped and everybody's got off, and now we have to work out how to start the merry-go-round up again and get on with business. So that's the plan going forward, about how do we get it started again.
Back in Oraro, Colin Hensley guesses his house's value may have fallen from $170,000 to $150 or $140. Another there who's looking to sell is the 74-year-old fire chief Vern McAllister and his wife Sally, who had aimed to take off touring in their 6-metre caravan trout fishing. I ask if he thinks the quake may have shorn 10 or 20% off his home's value.
Well, I really can't say. We're selling because we want to have a look around the South Island, and maybe in the winter we'll go north. But we absolutely love it here, so we're under no pressure to sell. We're very happy to stay here another year if it takes that long to settle down.
In Kaikoura, a few metres across Beach Road from where we meet Joe Van Rooyen, the real uncertainty begins. Here is where Lynn Hastie lives, and the low-lying land has subsided the most. Mr Van Rooyen says thoughts are already turning to confining any new building to the higher, rocky land above the hospital, but that geotechnical reports are crucial. For Checkpoint, Phil Pennington.